some connections do not arrive gently. They enter like a quiet disruption, soft on the surface, yet impossible to ignore. When twin flames meet, there is often a strange inner pause, as if time itself hesitates. The mind searches for explanations, but none are sufficient. The body feels it first. A warmth in the chest, a sudden stillness, the unsettling sense of remembering something that was never learned. This feeling is not built from shared history in this life. It does not depend on familiarity, time spent together, or emotional intimacy earned step by step. Instead, it feels pre-existing, as if the bond was already alive before the first word was spoken. Many describe it as recognition rather than attraction, a knowing that bypasses logic and lands directly in the soul. What stirs in these moments is not romance, but memory. A deep, silent memory that awakens when two energetic signatures resonate again. It is the memory of a shared intention formed beyond the limits of physical identity. The soul recognizes its own frequency mirrored in another, and something ancient within begins to surface. This recognition can feel disorienting. It challenges the idea that life unfolds only forward, from past to future. Instead, it suggests that some connections exist outside linear time, waiting for the right moment to reappear. When they do, they arrive carrying unfinished questions, unspoken promises, and an invitation to awaken. Often, this feeling is accompanied by an inner tension. Alongside the sense of home, there is discomfort. The ego feels exposed. Old defenses tremble. The connection seems to look through layers carefully built over years. This is because the purpose of such recognition is not comfort, but activation. It gently disrupts the familiar patterns of identity and asks a quiet, persistent question. Are you willing to remember who you were before the world shaped you? The feeling that this connection did not begin here is not meant to pull the soul away from life. It is meant to root it more deeply into truth. It marks the beginning of an inner journey, one where remembrance becomes the first step toward integration, and where love is revealed not as possession, but as recognition across worlds. The soul does not belong to a single moment, a single body, or a single reality. It moves through experience the way light moves through prisms, expressing itself in many forms while remaining whole. When twin flames encounter one another, what they recognize is not a personality or a story, but an underlying design, a shared blueprint that exists beyond the visible world. This blueprint is not a rigid plan. It is more like a pattern of energy, a unique configuration that carries intention, memory, and direction. Across multiple realities and expressions of existence, this pattern remains intact. It adapts to different circumstances, cultures, and timelines, yet its essence never dissolves. This is why twin flames can feel connected even when separated by distance, silence, or entirely different life paths. In human terms, this connection can feel confusing. One part of the self senses continuity, while another experiences fragmentation. The mind wonders how a bond can feel alive without presence, or intimate without contact. The answer lies in understanding that the soul's blueprint operates beyond physical interaction. It communicates through resonance rather than proximity. Across multiple layers of reality, the same soul essence may be exploring different lessons simultaneously. While the human self experiences time as linear, the soul experiences growth as expansive. The twin flame connection emerges when two expressions of the same energetic pattern come close enough, across dimensions, for recognition to occur. Not all recognition happens in physical form. Some happens in dreams, intuitive flashes, emotional surges, or sudden clarity without explanation. This multidimensional blueprint explains why the connection often feels active even during separation. Growth continues even when lives unfold apart. Shifts in awareness, emotional healing, and moments of insight can ripple through the shared energetic field. One soul's integration subtly influences the other, not by control or obligation, but through resonance. Yet this blueprint does not remove personal responsibility. Each individual must embody awareness through their own choices. The shared design does not override free will. Instead, it offers a framework within which conscious growth can occur. When one resists the inner work, the connection may feel unstable or painful. When one aligns with truth, clarity increases, even in solitude. Understanding the soul's blueprint across multiple realities reframes the twin flame journey. It is not about clinging to a person, chasing a reunion, or escaping human complexity. It is about recognizing that connection is not limited to form. The true bond is carried within, expressed through integrity, presence, and conscious living. In this light, separation is no longer absence. It becomes a different mode of connection, one that invites maturity, embodiment, and self-sovereignty. The soul's blueprint remains active, quietly guiding both expressions toward greater awareness until alignment within becomes more important than union without. Before life takes shape as a name, a body, or a story, awareness exists in a state untouched by urgency. In this expanded space, intention moves more clearly than words ever could. It is here that agreements are formed, not as rigid contracts, but as shared understandings between souls. These agreements are not bound by calendars or lifetimes. They are made beyond time. Twin flame connections often originate within this deeper realm of intention. The agreement is not centered on romance, permanence, or comfort. It is formed around growth, around remembrance, around the willingness to meet again in human form to catalyze awakening. This is why these connections tend to arrive with intensity rather than ease. They are designed to activate, not to soothe. Such agreements do not dictate outcomes. They do not promise reunion or guarantee harmony. Instead, they establish points of encounter, moments where two souls are likely to cross paths under circumstances that awaken something essential. What unfolds after recognition is shaped by free will, maturity, and the level of awareness each soul brings into the human experience. Because these agreements are made beyond linear time, they can echo across multiple lifetimes or realities. A single agreement may express itself in many forms, as a brief encounter that alters a life's direction, a long period of shared experience, or a painful separation that forces inner transformation. The form changes, but the underlying intention remains consistent. When such an agreement activates, the human self may feel overwhelmed. Old emotional patterns surface. Unresolved wounds rise to consciousness. This is not a failure of the agreement. It is its function. These connections illuminate what has been hidden, both within the individual and within the relational dynamic. They reveal where identity has been built on fear rather than truth. Importantly, these agreements are not binding in a punitive sense. No soul is punished for stepping away, choosing a different path, or delaying growth. Free will is always honored. However, the energetic pull of the agreement may continue to make itself known through repeated thoughts, emotional triggers, or synchronistic events until its core lesson is integrated. Understanding agreements made beyond time helps release the illusion that suffering is required for spiritual legitimacy. Pain arises not because the agreement demands it, but because resistance does. When awareness meets the lesson directly, intensity softens. What remains is clarity. These agreements exist to support evolution, not attachment. They invite each soul to step into responsibility, self-honesty, and embodiment. When the lesson is lived rather than resisted, the agreement completes itself naturally, sometimes through connection, sometimes through release, but always through deeper alignment with truth. There are moments when reality feels thinner, as if the boundaries that normally separate inner knowing from external experience briefly dissolve. In these moments, recognition occurs without logic. Twin flame encounters often arise within these subtle openings, when different layers of awareness overlap just enough for the soul to speak louder than the mind. This kind of recognition does not rely on evidence. It cannot be justified through shared history, compatibility, or circumstance. Instead, it arrives as an immediate certainty that feels both intimate and unsettling. The rational mind struggles because it is accustomed to sequencing meaning over time. Soul recognition, however, is instantaneous. It does not ask permission, it simply remembers. When dimensions overlap, memory does not present itself as images or stories. It emerges as sensation, a sudden emotional intensity, a deep calm paired with vulnerability, a sense of being seen beyond personality. These experiences often feel disproportionate to the moment itself, leaving the individual questioning their own reactions. Yet the reaction is not to the person alone. It is to the alignment of energetic layers. In these encounters, the present moment intersects with something older and wider. Parallel strands of awareness briefly converge, allowing information to pass without translation. This is why recognition often feels silent. There may be few words exchanged, yet the connection feels complete. The soul understands what the mind cannot yet articulate. Such moments can be destabilizing. They challenge the belief that reality is singular and predictable. When recognition happens without logic, the ego often attempts to regain control by labeling, idealizing, or dismissing the experience altogether. Some interpret it as destiny, others as fantasy. Both responses are attempts to contain something that cannot be neatly defined. What is often misunderstood is that recognition does not mean readiness. The overlapping of dimensions creates awareness, not resolution. It reveals the existence of a connection, but not its outcome. The intensity felt is not a guarantee of union, but a signal of activation. Something essential has been touched, and the system responds. After these moments, separation or confusion frequently follows. This is not a contradiction. It is part of the integration process. The human self must recalibrate to hold what has been revealed. Old structures of identity, attachment, and expectation may no longer fit. The individual is invited to slow down, ground, and listen inwardly. Recognition without logic is not meant to be chased or explained away. It is meant to be honored. It serves as a reminder that reality is layered and that some truths arrive whole, without steps. When dimensions overlap, the soul speaks in feeling rather than language, and the task of the human self is not to analyze, but to integrate what has been remembered. Separation in twin-flamed connections is often misunderstood as loss, rejection, or collapse. From a purely human perspective, it feels like something has gone wrong. Expectations dissolve. The intensity that once felt alive turns into silence or distance. Yet on a deeper level, separation is not a breakdown of the connection. It is a shift in how the connection operates across dimensions. When recognition occurs, awareness expands faster than the human nervous system can comfortably integrate. Separation emerges as a natural response to this expansion. It creates space for grounding, allowing each individual to stabilize their sense of self outside the intensity of the shared field. Rather than signaling failure, it marks a transition from external focus to internal embodiment. In this phase, the connection often moves from the physical layer into subtler realms of experience. The bond may no longer be expressed through contact or shared time, but through internal processes, emotional healing, identity restructuring, and deep self-inquiry. The absence of the other acts as a mirror, reflecting what has not yet been integrated within. Separation exposes attachments that were invisible during closeness. Needs for validation, rescue, or completion rise to the surface. This is not punishment, it is clarity. The distance removes distraction, revealing where the individual has confused connection with dependence. What feels like abandonment is often the soul reclaiming sovereignty. From a dimensional perspective, separation allows each soul to recalibrate its frequency. Growth requires differentiation. When two expressions of a shared blueprint remain too entangled, development can stagnate. Distance creates the conditions for independent alignment, ensuring that any future connection, whether internal or external, rests on wholeness rather than longing. This phase can feel lonely, but it is not empty. The energetic connection often remains active, guiding awareness inward. Dreams may intensify, insights surface unexpectedly. Patterns repeat in other relationships, offering opportunities to heal the same wounds from different angles. The connection continues its work, even in silence. Importantly, separation does not guarantee reunion, nor does it deny it. The outcome is not the focus. What matters is integration. When separation is approached as a dimensional shift rather than a failure, the question changes from "how do I get them back" to "what is this space asking me to become?" Separation invites maturity. It asks the individual to embody truth without external reinforcement, to choose presence over fixation, to cultivate meaning within the lived human experience. In doing so, the soul stabilizes the expanded awareness that recognition awakened. Whether paths converge again or move apart, separation fulfills its purpose when it leads to inner alignment. In that alignment, the connection no longer defines identity, it simply reflects it. One of the deepest tensions in the twin flame journey lies between destiny and choice. When a connection feels pre-existing and powerful, it is easy to believe that everything is predetermined. Yet even within a greater design, free will remains central. The soul may carry intention, but the human self carries responsibility. A greater design does not function as a script with fixed outcomes. It operates more like a field of possibility, one shaped by agreements, tendencies, and potential points of awakening. Within this field, each individual is free to respond, resist, or evolve. Awareness may be invited, but it cannot be forced. Growth must be chosen. This is why twin flame connections can unfold so differently from one person to another. Some respond to recognition with curiosity and self-inquiry. Others react with fear, avoidance, or control. The same activation can lead to expansion or contraction, depending on how free will is exercised. The design offers the opportunity, The response determines the experience. Free will is most clearly revealed during moments of discomfort. When intensity arises, the individual must decide whether to externalize the pain or turn inward. Blame, obsession, and idealization are choices, just as honesty, grounding, and self-responsibility are choices. The connection does not demand a specific behavior. It reveals where choice has been unconscious. Understanding this restores sovereignty. No one is obligated to wait, chase, or sacrifice themselves in the name of a spiritual bond. Choosing a different path does not violate the greater design. In fact, it may fulfill it. Sometimes the lesson is not union, but self-respect. Not endurance, but discernment. At the same time, free will does not erase energetic influence. Actions taken in alignment with truth tend to bring clarity and ease even if they are difficult. Actions rooted in fear often amplify confusion and intensity. The design responds not by punishment, but by reflection. Life mirrors the level of awareness being lived. When free will aligns with inner truth, the connection shifts. The emotional charge softens. The need for outcomes diminishes. The individual becomes less focused on what should happen and more attentive to what is being asked in the present moment. In this state, the greater design feels supportive rather than controlling. Free will within a greater design invites conscious participation. It asks the individual to move from passive belief to embodied awareness. The journey becomes less about destiny unfolding and more about integrity being lived. In that integrity, the soul expresses its design not through force, but through presence. Integration is where the journey becomes real, not in visions, not in longing, and not in waiting for signs, but in how awareness is lived moment by moment within ordinary life. After recognition, activation, separation, and choice, the soul is asked to do something deceptively simple: to embody what has been remembered. Living as a bridge between worlds does not mean existing half in the spiritual and half in the physical. It means allowing expanded awareness to inform grounded action. The insight gained through the twin flame experience is not meant to pull the individual away from relationships, responsibilities, or reality. It is meant to refine how presence is brought into them. At this stage, the connection no longer demands attention. It becomes integrated rather than consuming. The emotional intensity softens into clarity. The individual no longer seeks confirmation through signs or synchronicities, because inner alignment has replaced external reassurance. What once felt overwhelming now feels steady. Integration requires honesty. It asks the individual to live according to what they know, not what they hope. Boundaries become clearer. Choices become cleaner. Patterns that once repeated lose their grip because the awareness that fueled them has shifted. This is where sovereignty stabilizes, not as independence from others, but as coherence within the self. Being a bridge also means holding paradox without collapse. The individual may sense connection without contact, meaning without explanation, depth without drama. This capacity reflects maturity of consciousness. The soul no longer needs to fracture reality into either spiritual or human. Both are held as expressions of the same truth. Importantly, integration does not depend on reunion. The presence or absence of the other no longer defines fulfillment. The connection has completed its primary function: to awaken embodied awareness. Whether paths align again or diverged, or the individual remains whole. In integration, love is no longer projected outward as a solution. It is lived inward as orientation. Compassion replaces obsession. Curiosity replaces fear. The individual becomes a quiet anchor, able to move through life with depth without losing balance. Living as a bridge between worlds is not dramatic. It is subtle, steady, and deeply transformative. It is the moment when remembrance becomes wisdom, and when the journey, rather than seeking an ending, finally finds its ground. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps this space continue sharing content that invites reflection, depth, and conscious awareness. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, not to explain or convince, but to express what this journey is awakening within you. When we reflect together, the message gains new layers of meaning. If you feel called to support the channel in a more direct way, you can contribute through the Super Thanks option below the video. Every contribution helps sustain this work and allows these conversations to keep reaching those who are ready to hear them. Thank you for being here, for listening with presence, and for walking this path with openness. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring the deeper layers of connection, consciousness, and remembrance.